Welcome to Working Progress. This is the podcast where we dive into strategies for success and journey towards progress. So, what does workplace culture really mean? And why do so many organizations struggle to get it right? Is culture something you can design, or does it just happen? Today, we're exploring what truly creates a healthy team culture, how communication, trust, and clarity shape the way teams work together, and what leaders can do to build environments where people feel safe, aligned, and motivated to contribute. We're joined by Andria Salvá, who brings deep insight into leadership, communication, and team dynamics. Her work helps leaders understand how culture is formed through everyday behaviors, expectations, and conversations, not just mission statements or values on the wall. In this episode, we'll talk about the most common misunderstanding about culture, why miscommunication increases as teams grow, how leaders can adapt their communication to different personalities and work styles, and how trust and psychological safety allow teams to handle conflict, speak up, and perform their best. So let's get started. Andria, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. So do you want to start by sharing a little bit about your background with us?
That's okay. My name is Andria Salvá again. I am an industrial organizational psychologist and have been a consultant for over 30 years. Let's say that. I'm also an executive coach. And for the last 5 years, I have emphasized that the coaching side of the business. And during that time, I have worked with a lot of pharmaceuticals, medical devices, electronics, multinationals company, and banking firms in Puerto Rico. So that's my general background.
Beautiful. Well, let's get on to the topic at hand. So when we talk about workplace culture, what's the biggest misunderstanding when we talk about workplace culture?
I think that the first issue is that they use culture as if buying a hamburger or something like that. You know, let's do the culture thing, but they don't. They are not clear about what it involves in creating a culture.
Yes.
Rather than just the accidental way of being of an organization. So the culture is the way things are here. And the culture may be accidental, maybe because a leader is some way or behave in some specific ways or drive people in one direction or the other. So it happens.
Yeah.
But if you want to really drive organizational change and transformation, you need to be sure that all the elements involved in creating a working environment that is safe, that promotes growth, that makes people want to be there and be a participant of that, then you need to do intentional actions.
Yeah.
And I think that the first thing that most leaders overview or just don't pay attention to is the level of commitment that this intention involves.
Yeah.
The activities, and especially as I told them, this is not a FedEx, UPS overnight delivery.
No.
This won't happen that way. Culture is transformation. So you may have done recruitment in several other ways.
Yeah.
Or people may be there for 30 years, and then here is the new batch of people, as someone told me. This is a new batch, the new generation. Yes, but then you need to teach them.
Yes.
And how do you do that involves several rules, several actions, several activities that when you tell them this is all the things that you need to do to create a culture, oh my God, that is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's a lot of work. That's intentional for me, a lot of energy involved.
Yes, it like you said, it's not a one size fits all.
No, you need to adjust because within that culture, there are always some little groups that are used to work together and they establish their own rules. So there are, we call subcultures within the greater culture. But again, some organizations need to calibrate and align what they say with what they do.
Yes.
And that is one of the main challenges.
So how do you define a healthy team culture, and how can leaders tell when it is truly working?
Well, a culture is when you have people behaving, their attitudes and what they say and what they do are all aligned within a set of values, principles, or guidelines along the ways of how are they going to do what they do every day.
Yeah.
They may consider that they have internal customers or external customers, or how they handle crisis, how they handle change, how they approach conflict.
Yeah.
For example, in conflict, I always say, I love conflict, I like conflict, and conflict is only a signal of something that may have a misunderstanding. When you don't handle that conflict, then it grows.
Yes.
Generally in the wrong direction, because then she told me that what I should do. Okay, I'm sure that it was because last time this meeting happens this or that, or I was successful, or I was not, or the stories came and flow very quickly. And that story that is created because of the wrongful approach to developing the culture, then it becomes hardships, difficult situations, and it involves sometimes getting rid of some people because that adaptation is not happening. So how you know if the team is working? Well, you see that by the commitment that the team has, that they repeat the same, you need to behave this way because here we do things this way. When you see that the culture is working, that they acknowledge the vision and the values that they have, that they embrace the correct attitudes. Yeah. This is the way that we solve things here.
Yeah.
And when you ask them, that their perspective is, here we intend to do this, and this is the way that we solve this. Mm-hmm. We don't shout, or we don't, whatever examples they bring in the conversation. So leaders need to be very aware of the behaviors of the team members that respond to him or her at any specific time. They see to explore the attitudes, but they need to do a lot. Be intentional in providing feedback, in adjusting, because the feedback is just a calibrating system. But they don't like to do, I don't do feedback because, it involves so much time. No, it takes 1 minute. This is good. You did great. But recognition, that is the positive side of feedback, they don't do that. Yeah. Because, it's out of my scope. No, that is your scope. So that's my approach to this topic. So, in culture, at the end, it's only the behaviors that you observe.
Yes.
So you sit in the lobby of any company, and you see the culture there.
You're able to
how people talk to each other. Maybe in the symbols are like how they are dressed.
Yes.
How they approach people when are there. I have been in lobbies that no one says even hello.
Oh.
And other lobbies, have anyone come to you? Okay, you're waiting. Do you want some water? Do you want some coffee? So you notice that the rules there are completely different in one case or the other. So that's part of the challenges. First, acknowledging that is happening, how this is happening, and then deciding intentionally how I want to drive this.
Okay. So we were just talking about that, but what are the biggest culture challenges organizations face as the teams grow, or there are different changes in place? What do you typically see happens? I mean, we talk about the culture. You sit in a lobby, you see that somebody greets you, or they just walk in and out. But as we change, there are expectations. How can people really rely on the culture to ground them, basically?
Well, first, it's an old word. Everybody uses it, but I think not everybody catch what it means. You need to communicate, and communicate.
Yes.
Again and again and again. But that is not a magical word. Hi, we have a problem of communication. No, you have to embrace what communications actually means and involves. Paying attention to someone, showing empathy, connecting to other human beings as human beings,
Yes.
not as a piece of something that is moving in the place. So I think that the first issue that is needed to be clarified is what are the expectations.
Yeah.
So some companies have a vision, mission, values all placed
All
there,
over,
right?
yes.
All over the place. But they don't live that.
Yeah.
So you need to, we are saying this, but we expect everybody to embrace and act on it.
Yes.
So you need to expect, for example, when I work with some organizations, okay, when you said trust, what do you mean by that? Because I can define trust based on a lot of works.
Yes.
And we can go around it, but what is trust for you? How do you demonstrate trust? How do you know that they trust you?
Yes.
You need to talk about that. That's the communication side that they kind of wanted to avoid, but communication is not sitting on a table that we are sitting right now and say, well, okay, so it's important to communicate. Have a nice day. That is not enough. And they do that.
Yes.
Maybe I exaggerated a little, but actually that's what they do. We are supposed to do this I reached this cell goal this month, and okay, everybody goes. Nobody review if everyone is clear on how we are going to achieve those goals. What are the do's and don'ts on achieving those goals? And more importantly, on the day-to-day, okay, you're doing okay. You're on the right track.
Yeah.
Maybe yesterday was not the best day for your sales, but what about adjusting this or that? That's a conversation.
Yeah.
So we need conversations a lot.
We like conversation.
Right. It's everything. I remember the late Dr. I read the name, so I don't forget. Dr. Judith Glasser. She developed a program about conversational intelligence.
Okay.
And she has something that I always use in every engagement that I have about cultural change. And she said, to get to the next level of greatness depends on the quality of the culture, which depends on the quality of the relationships, which depends on the quality of the conversation. Everything happens through conversations.
Interesting.
And I love that statement from her. She passed away a few years ago. But I think that is the core of the thing. If you want cultural change, because maybe the times call for it, then you have to have conversations.
Yes.
And in order to have conversations, we need to know yourself. Get some more self-awareness. That's what I introduced the behavioral intelligence, at least.
We love it.
You know to understand what is your personal style. How do you approach people? How these may be wonderful in some scenarios and regretful in other scenarios. So you need to approach that. And then how you use your emotional intelligence. How do you are aware of your own reactions, and how do you handle yourself? How do you understand others and also impact others in some ways? So we need to do that. And eventually we need to go into the DNA and go into the competencies that allow that. And maybe you can go a little deeper and go in other elements. So there are a lot of tools, that's how I explain it. There are a lot of tools that will help you in this role very effectively, in very simple ways, with vocabulary that is easy to handle by most people.
Yeah.
But then, that's expensive. And I ask them, how expensive is not to transform your culture?
Yes.
And that is the main issue to address.
Yes.
No, they may place the money first, but no, everything has a solution.
It does. And that's where you're investing in your people, because turnover, as we know, is actually very expensive as well.
Very expensive. I remember it was like 120% of what costs to you bring that person on. And then, sorry, not only bringing that person, but preparing that person.
Yes.
And so you invest a couple of years in that person, and then suddenly the person leave because that was not a match. But I have gone through the benchmarking process.
Yes.
And then when you do the benchmark and you ask these questions, what is that people need to demonstrate?
Yeah.
The accountabilities that they need to show 80% of the time. No, they need to show that it's 100%. No, because the other 20, they are in meetings and they are in vacation and there are a lot of other things. So it's 80%. And when they choose the most important instruction when I do this benchmark exercise is be sure that this is essential and fundamental for these people to demonstrate whatever you are choosing. Because the scale is short, but you can do that. And then when they see the results, it's like, oh, yes, that's what I want.
Yes.
Then came the question, how can we do that? And then
that's where you come in and show them, this is the job benchmark. These are the assessments that we can use.
So I think that for me, in almost 25 or 30 years with TTI, is having tools that support the decision making in a good way.
Yes.
In a good way is a way that is not as expensive as it may be if you just try to use tarot cards to find out if that is the way to do the thing. If someone wants to use that, okay, but again, that is not a scientific way, a systematic way, and you do this and do that, and then you can achieve your goals. But you need to be very clear.
Yes.
That it is a time investment, because again, it's not an overnight delivery, and you need to get your leaders on board.
Yes.
Very quickly, and they need to start with them the approach of how I model the culture that we want.
Yeah.
It starts with the leaders. It doesn't start at the bottom line.
No, it starts from the top down. And like you said, it starts with a conversation as well. So why does miscommunication tend to increase then as teams start to scale, even with good intentions? So we'll start growing more, but sometimes in cultures, there seems to be more miscommunication, even though good things are happening.
Yeah, again, they don't want to have the conversation. They need to, first, people likes to be recognized.
Yes.
And for that, I said, it's not a card with a $25 to a pizza night or whatever. It's saying, thank you.
Yeah.
It's saying, I saw you.
Yeah.
I saw your effort. So in some companies, they say, it's not effort, I measure results. Oh, come on, guy. There is an effort in achieving those results. And sometimes even having the best procedures, you don't get the results. So you need to get back and find out what's happening.
Yeah.
What's the issue? Maybe that we don't have the right information from the marketing people that they say, you should say this or that. Maybe it's that you need more preparation and you need your team members more involved in understanding why are we doing this. And that is important. And for that, you need not only trust, but you also need accountability.
Yeah.
So it's very important for people to own the results.
Yes.
Or whatever they are pursuing in their careers or the team involvement things. You need to own it.
Yes.
I'm part of this. This is for the good of us all.
Absolutely.
And instead of focus on maybe the outsiders.
Yeah.
Maybe just a few. and you invest so much energy in dealing with the outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
The outsiders will go out.
Yes.
They can't resist a good culture.
Yes.
So work with the insiders, the ones that really, really believe in you, believe in what you are pursuing as a leader, and they are accountable for the accountability comes like
Yes.
as a result of that. At least that is my experience.
Yes, no, absolutely. So for leaders, though, not everybody is going to have the same communication styles or work styles. So how should leaders adapt their communication styles to connect with those different personalities or work styles? I know that you said, just because the values are up on the wall, if you don't live by those values, then other people are going to say, well, if my leader doesn't do them.
Well, this is what I say to them. Be yourself first. Okay. Be yourself first.
Okay.
Admit this is me.
Okay.
This is the way. Maybe I'm more extroverted and I like to drive people and give directions. And acknowledging that will help you in deciding this is good.
Yeah.
And I need to adjust this because the other person is more compliance oriented, and you are thinking that the person will just move because you just order that they want, because they are afraid that they will lose their jobs if they do something wrong.
Yes.
So you need to, I know that I am explaining this way, but at the end, if the leader is honest with himself or herself, mm-hmm. and have these honest, open, transparent, truth-telling conversations, yeah. My experience is that people go, that is his way. But he has a good heart.
Yeah.
And they buy the right thing from them.
Yes.
I think that is one of the most important things. But if I am afraid of being myself,
yes.
and I try to show up as someone I am not, because I want to impress someone or something that every human being do. I want to impress. I want to do that.
Course.
That's okay in the general sense.
Yes.
But in a day-to-day relationship with a team, you need to be yourself.
Yes. Be authentic.
Be authentic. Yeah. That's critical. There are a lot of authors talking about authenticity these
yes.
times. I think it's a key. Yeah. It's a key element. With authenticity, you can be trustful.
Yeah, true.
So trust is very important. You need to have trust. I think trust is at the heart.
Okay.
You need to give the results, but also you need to demonstrate that you are your integrity in
mm-hmm.
the process.
Yes.
And a third element, that you really care about your people.
Mm-hmm.
From the reasons, for whatever reason, because I care of people because that's my preference of being oriented toward people, or I care about the results that people will bring. So I will take care of the people just because I need them to bring results. What are their key concerns? What are their dreams? What do we... this is like question I always ask to my coaching participant is, what do you want to be when you are grown up? And I have asked that question to 20-something people, and I have asked that question to 60-year-old people. And,
yes.
And I enjoy every answer because, at this stage of my life, I will.
Yes.
And I want to do this. So my work with you as a coach is, how can you achieve your dream?
Yep.
And at the same time, while you are doing that, understanding that my dream may not be yours.
Yeah.
And ask, what do you want to be when you're a grown-up?
Yeah.
And then how can, within the constraints of the organization, because every organization has constraints, this can be done, this, if you want to be a chef, and this is a pharmaceutical chef is not something that will be in your career path.
No.
But even that, maybe you can give some price at some point. And there is a $200 fee for going into a cooking lesson. And that person appreciate that you were really concerned about them at that point.
Yeah.
And teams work in the same thing. Actually, I think that teams may be harder on asking others to become members of the team. I remember the Chicago Bulls a lot of years ago.
Yep.
And with Rodman and all that stuff.
Rodman and Jordan.
But they were winners.
Yep.
But Rodman was behaving in some ways that were not acceptable for the team. So as a captain, he went there and talked to him. He had the conversation. You need to have the talk. So he had the conversation. Listen, guy, I need you. You are the best in your whatever you do, but I need you to behave in this and this and this. And he accepted, and he get back to the team and gain a few other
couple more championships,
a couple of more. But again, it's not that he was not saying, "Listen, you need to behave like I behave."
Exactly.
I understand you want to use those codes, you want to do the cigars, you want to do whatever you want to do, but this is what the team needs. Mm-hmm. As long as you are here with us in this way, we can get through it. And he did.
Absolutely.
Having a conversation.
So one more question as we wrap it up. What's one action that leaders can take immediately to strengthen their team culture?
I think that the first action is to work with themselves.
Okay.
Connect to the why we are here.
Yes.
Why I am doing what I am doing. And how I need to evolve in order to respond not only to the current times, but the future demands of that team. And then have, as a team, as individuals, have conversations with them. What do you want to do? What do you want to become? What are your main challenges? What are you afraid of? And create that trusting relationship. Mm-hmm. Because with truth telling, with sharing the goals, and sharing the wins, I think that is the most important thing that leaders need to do, because they need to model what I ask from the team. Mm-hmm. If I want the team to be open, I need to show openness.
Yes.
If I want the team to put a little more effort, they need to see me putting the extra effort. Again, I there's a phrase that says, leaders should roll up their things and do the thing as well. But be careful, because if you teach the team that for anything that happens, you will be there doing the thing, eventually they will say, oh, forget it. He will do it, or she will do it. So you need to do that in a dynamic balance in some way. So in order to start that, get a coach. Get a coach, do some assessments, understand that the assessment not only helps you, because this is the way that I shared that with them. We're discussing this language, the universal language of this. Okay, but this will help you. Now, this is the quadrant. Where do you think your people are?
Yeah.
And being who you are, how do you need to approach that person differently?
Yes.
Is just an adaptation in the behaviors?
Yes.
Not in who I am. Mm-hmm. I am who I am. I can show empathy in different ways. Okay. Maybe you're not the most empathetic person in the world, but empathy is about trying to see the person so you can connect with them and engage them. So once you have that, how do you engage them? Well, you have the 8 factors of engagement.
Yes.
And you can have your team having conversations among them. Okay, I want to improve the trust, or I want to improve results of recognition. How can we do this?
Yeah.
It's very simple. You can use the instrument, actually inexpensive as well. So you can use the instrument and have measurements. That is very important, measurements along that year. So at the end of the year, you say, you see, I can demonstrate that this approach works.
Beautiful. Well, that wraps up today's episode of Working Progress. A big thank you to you, Andria, for sharing your insights.
Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. So thank you for sharing your insights into how leaders can intentionally build strong cultures through clarity, communication, and, like we said, trust. If you found today's episode valuable, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, share the episode with a colleague or fellow leader. Your support helps us continue to bring these meaningful conversations to life. And remember, culture isn't what you say, it's what you reinforce. When leaders create clarity, encourage honest communication, and build psychological safety, they give teams the foundation they need to grow, adapt, and succeed together. As always, thank you for listening. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making progress. Take care, everyone.